ceasefire, if there's no deal, would you be willing to extend the ceasefire, or will the fighting resume, Mr. President?
I would say the fighting. If there's no deal, fighting resume.
Just for clarity, you're willing to extend the ceasefire if there
Well,
is
we'll
no
see.
deal?
I don't know that we'll have to. Ideally, we'll, but if I needed to, I would. So, very important is that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, and they've agreed to that. Iran's agreed to that, and they've agreed to it very powerfully. They've agreed to give us back the nuclear dust that's way underground because of the attack we made with the B-2 bombers. So we have a lot of agreement with Iran, and I think something's going to happen very positive.
Would you ever go to Pakistan to seal the deal yourself?
I would go to Pakistan, yeah. Pakistan has been great. They've been so good. Islamabad, I might go. Yeah, I might go. If the deal is signed in Islamabad, I might go. The field marshal has been great. The prime minister has been really great in Pakistan. So I might go. They want me. Iran wants to make a deal, and we're dealing very nicely with them. We've got to have no nuclear weapons. If we do, that's a big factor. And they're willing to do things today that they weren't willing to do 2 months ago. If it happens, it'll be announced fairly soon. And that'll give us free oil, free Hormuz Strait. I will say the war in Iran is going along swimmingly. We can do whatever we want. And it should be ending pretty soon. It was perfect. I mean, it's perfect. It was the power we have, our military. We have the most powerful military anywhere in the world. I built it 4 years, my first 4 years. When we had the best economy in the history of our country in my first term, and we're blowing it out now. We're blowing it away now. And despite our little diversion to the lovely country of Iran, lovely place, but we had to do that because otherwise bad things could happen, really bad things. So we've sent out, and I think you're going to see some incredible results, you know, for those people that question it. You're going to see some, the job we've done has been amazing. The ships are out there today, and they're saying, don't come here, don't even think about it. And you have these massive tankers saying, let's get the hell out of here. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Considering extending the ceasefire with Iran.
With who?
With Iran.
We're doing very well, I can tell you. Maybe it'll happen before that. I'm not sure it needs to be extended. Just so you know, Iran wants to make a deal, and we're dealing very nicely with them. We've got to have no nuclear weapons. If we do, that's a big factor. And they're willing to do things today that they weren't willing to do 2 months ago.
Well, as you know, President Trump has a very strong and direct relationship with President Xi. And they've communicated on that, and China has assured us that that indeed is not going to happen. And in the spirit of the meeting they'll have next month. Thank you very much. Other allies have talked a lot and haven't done anything. And as the president has pointed out, this is a waterway that the American commerce doesn't use all that much. We don't rely on the energy coming out of the Strait of Hormuz, but Asia does, and Europe does, and large parts of the rest of the world do. And so their ability to muster a collective defense or a clearing of the straits would be a wonderful thing. And we hear and see the talk about it, but when shots were fired and those countries were needed the most, they weren't there. They weren't in the strait. They weren't alongside us. Their leaders weren't rallying what they have of their navies. If they decide after CENTCOM does the heavy lifting, which again, they should be able to do. We should live in a world where other countries can defend waterways, not just the United States Navy. To Iran, choose wisely. The world watched, and so did you, as the U.S. military moved seamlessly from major combat operations to a world-class blockade. We can make that transition again. We are locked and loaded on your critical dual-use infrastructure, on your remaining power generation, and on your energy industry.
The US military says it has completely halted Iranian shipping. What we need to understand is exactly what that actually means. So here we have a map of the current situation. And the United States says that Iran's ports, we're talking about all these ports, particularly Cargill and all the big ones, all of them there over here, it says they are blockaded at the moment. But where is the US actually doing the blockading from? Not from the Straits itself, but the ships are probably somewhere outside in the Gulf, in the Arabian Gulf, along there, keeping as far away as possible. The US says it is not blockading the Straits of Hormuz itself, and traffic not related to Iran may cross. But of course, that raises the question of how much traffic is actually moving across. In terms of traffic that has actually managed to get across, if we take a look, you can see some vessels, for example, the Christiana, have passed through the Straits. You can see it here. Others, the Rich Starry, I'm just going to show you here. You can see it coming around here. Some of them came all the way around the Rich Starry and then turned all the way back again. Iranian media says 4 ships have traveled to and from Iran today. It is a tricky issue of getting around. But even if a boat gets through, the US can, of course, still intersect and interdict a vessel anywhere in international waters. If you look at the blockade before the US blockade, Iran routed vessels north of the channel. Really interesting to see how it did. You came north of the channel and out to avoid mines. Now, Donald Trump says US allies will start using minesweepers. CENTCOM has released audio of militaries warning vessels in the Gulf of Oman, taking, depending which route they're going, the northern or the southern, because that has been determined as the hazardous area.
The U.S. has announced a formal blockade of Iranian ports and coastal areas. This is illegal action. All vessels are advised to immediately return to port if leaving and discontinue transit to Iran if that is your next port of call. Do not attempt to breach the blockade. Vessels will be boarded for interdiction and seizure transiting to or from an Iranian port. Turn around and prepare to be boarded. If you do not comply with this blockade, we will use force. The whole of the United States Navy is ready to force compliance.
Iran is now threatening shipping in the Red Sea if the U.S. continues its blockade of Iranian ports.
播报新闻是我的日常，必须时刻保持妆容和皮肤的最佳状态。当来到人生中最重要的时刻，也是 KS 逆时奇迹帮助我轻松驾驭，闪闪发光。KS 逆时奇迹活肤露全效精华、精华霜，多达5种 EGF 6大冻龄关键成分，保湿效果让我非常满意。小细纹也不再困扰我，我就是我自己的最佳女主角。KS 让我从容自信，光彩动人。我是我人生中的大女主，我的最爱我做主。KS 逆时奇迹系列热卖中，下单请上快点购，透过中天新闻网 App 下单立减50，或输入 CTI 推荐码有额外折扣。